So this door had a rotted jamb on it here on the left side. This trim right down here was rotted away, and I had that replaced. But it looks like the repair person basically cut this jamb when he installed it shorter than the other side, right over here. And that created a situation where when folks would step on this, even though he caulked it, when folks would step on this, it would, quickly, in very little time, cause that caulk to come apart because this is very wobbly. Plus, not to mention underneath here, underneath this threshold, I guess what they call the subsill, you can see that down here, that seemed to have lost some of its, I'm not sure what exactly they put up there to keep this stable when the house was originally built, but that had basically disappeared or had gone away. So there's essentially two problems. One is the jamb was cut too short. Now how I did that is I took a tape measure. Took a tape measure here and I hooked it on the bottom right here. Hooked it on the bottom right there, and I measured all the way along that jamb, all the way to the top. I find there was about a half-inch difference between these two, from here to the top versus the other side. So that told me the jamb was cut loose, because really I thought it was just underneath here, this needed shimming up. The problem with that is when I would shim up underneath this threshold, if I took a level to it, the threshold was actually registering that it was an even surface when I shimmed it from the bottom, from the subsill. And that was and I guess would cause issues because the water would flow back in. Ideally, I would think you would want this to be angled downward so water doesn't flow back in towards the house. So that wasn't going to cut it. That's what led me to believe that I would need to shim from here in order to basically extend this jamb. And to do that, how I did that was I got these Timberwolf composite shims. I didn't want to use wooden shims because they would rot. And what I did is I measured with calipers, roughly measured, I eyeballed it, then verified it with calipers, this distance right here. That was about 1/5 of an inch. And then what I did is I looked to see where on the shim where approximately 1/5 of an inch was, and I measured this length here, this length around here, length down here, and I cut out a section of this shim that roughly corresponded to that, and that looked like this right here. And then what I did is I put that in like this. I used a level to make sure that this surface was still level in both directions, this way and this way. And this is the most important one, my guess, just so the threshold's angled away towards the house. And then I used a utility knife to score this so I could get a nice fit into here. And then once I scored it, I used these pair of wire snips, or 7-inch Husky snips, to start cutting along this length in order to get to fit nicely there. Now, when that's complete, even though this is in here, there's still a little bit of bounce to this. And again, that's where I think the second problem comes into play, where I have to actually shim underneath here, or put a piece of PVC 1x4 board across here in order to support this subsill. That may offer enough support that I don't have to shim under here.